Hello, so I'm going to do two videos comparing the operator's primary weapons. In this video I'm going to cover the cop guns, we're going to fire them and take a look at their stats. And I'm going to start with the RO933, which is the starting carbine for both the cops and the criminals. And in my opinion it's bloody awful, and the reason for that, as you can see from the stats at the bottom, is its vertical recoil, 0.52. That's higher than any assault rifle in Battlefield 4. The Bulldog has a recoil of 0.5, but it is doing 33 damage, not 24. When you add to that, it's got a first shot multiplier of 0.28. The recoil on this gun is horrendous. It's not even balanced left and right. It's got 0.1 left, 0.4 right. Let's have a look at that recoil in action. I'm going to go onto an empty server and test it out. So if I stand at this fence here and shoot at this van, all the guns are going to be shot at over the same range, and the van is quite good for showing up the bullet strikes. So as you can see, this thing kicks like a mule. I can only get half a magazine onto the side of the van. I've got 15 rounds left when I finish firing. The vertical recoil on this gun is appalling. There's no other word for it. There really are no redeeming features to this gun's recoil. Let's try burst firing it, and you'll see just how bad that first shot recoil makes it act. So there you have it. It's not a pleasant looking group. In fact, it's a massive group. For a 3-shot burst, that is horrendous. And things don't get much better if you drop it to a 2-shot burst. I've no idea what they were thinking when they created the stats for this gun, but it's appalling. Now they did say that they were increasing the recoil in Hardline, but this gun is just increased to the max. None of the other guns in the game kick as badly as this thing does, and it's only doing 24 damage. The only gun comparable with this in Battlefield 4 is the Bulldog, but the Bulldog's got a lower first shot multiplier, it's got lower left and right recoil, and it's doing 33 damage. This gun needs a drastic overhaul because it's not even accurate when you fire it single shot. So it's got low damage, low accuracy and high recoil. Possibly the worst combination in the game. Let's move on to the SG553. This is the gun I think should be the starting gun for the operative class. The SG553 has the same damage model as the RO933. It does 24 damage, starts dropping off at 30 meters and it goes down to 15. It's got a rate of fire of 700 rounds per minute, but its recoil is 0.21 vertical, 0.1 left, 0.2 right. This is far more controllable than the RO933. It is firing at 100 rounds per minute less, but anything that's not close range, and this gun is far easier to get those rounds on target. Its first shot multiplier is 2.2, and that's a characteristic of Hardline guns. Their first shot multiplier is higher than their Battlefield 4 equivalents. If we go back to the van firing range, then you'll see what I mean about the difference in recoil. The SG553 can get an entire magazine onto the side of that van. The SG's recoil is just so much more controllable than the RO's recoil, and it means that anything beyond short range, the SG just dominates the RO. The recoil pattern looks quite widespread, but remember, it's putting twice the number of bullets onto that van, so you're seeing twice the amount of horizontal recoil on that pattern. If we go to burst fire, it's a very similar story. The pattern is smaller, it's more compact, and it's a much easier gun to use. There's no need to drop down to a 2-shot or a single shot. This thing will quite happily 3-shot burst at medium ranges. And because it's more comparable to the Battlefield 4 guns, this is the gun I think should start off the class. I'm going to continue down the cop guns, and that brings us to the M16A3. And here we get to see one of the problems of the beta. The guns that you buy are better than the guns that you start with. So the M16A3 does 28 damage out to 40 meters, dropping down to 18. It's got 0.34 recoil upwards, 0.5 recoil left, and 0.15 recoil right. How can this possibly compare to the starting gun for the class, which is only doing 24 damage and has 0.525 recoil up? The M16A3's first shot multiplier is quite high at 2.5, but this gun is better in every way than the RO933. In fact, the assault rifles outclass the carbines in every way. The carbines have no redeeming features compared to the assault rifles. So let's go out to the van and try out the M16A3. Yes, this gun does have a massive scope on it at the moment, it's the only one I've got, but it does the job. So there you can see M16A3 has a very similar recoil to what we expect. Pretty much vertical, spreads out as it goes up. It's not getting the full magazine onto the side of the van, but it's getting pretty close. So the M16A3 is doing 800 rounds a minute, and it's giving us a good pattern against the side of the van. Recoils more than the SG, but it's a lot less than the RO, and it's a harder hitting gun. The M16A3 is a 4-shot kill. The RO is a 5-shot kill. So it's got better recoil, it's got better killing power, and its burst fire is pretty good as well. M16A3 outclasses the RO in every way. And the final assault rifle we have in the beta that doesn't require a really bizarre unlock is the M416. The M416 has got the same damage model as the M16A3, but it's firing at 850 rounds a minute rather than 800. It's got slightly less vertical recoil at 0.32, and it's got more side-to-side recoil, 0.1 left, 0.3 right. So if you put a compensator on the M416 and a muzzle brake on the M16A3, you get very similar guns indeed. It's just that the M416 has got a bit more side-to-side recoil, but it makes up for that by shooting 50 rounds per minute faster. The M416 also has a slightly lower first shot multiplier, so it's a little better at burst firing. So if we take it out to the van, we can check its recoil. Now if you're wondering how the van has always got clean white sides, it's because I have to play on a different server every time I shoot the guns. The M416 behaves almost exactly like it does in Battlefield 4, except of course that it's got a buff in terms of its rate of fire. The pattern you get from its automatic fire is almost identical, up and to the right. There's a couple of extra bullets hitting the side of the van compared to the M16A3, but to compensate for that, the recoil side to side is a bit worse. Where the M416 slightly edges it for me is in its burst fire. That slightly lower first shot multiplier and that slightly lower vertical recoil just means that its 3-shot burst is a bit of a tighter group. And for my playstyle, that's better. I often 3-shot burst. So as you can see, the 3-shot burst group for the M416 is pretty damn good. But to be honest, the guns are very similar. They swap stats. M416 is faster to reload, but the M16A3 has got a higher bullet velocity. They're so similar, the differences are minor. It's just a matter of your personal preference. Personally, I go for the M416 because my play style is more about burst fire than trying to control fully automatic fire. And the M416 just has a slightly tighter group than the M16A3, but like I say, it's all down to personal choice. So for the cops at least, the operator's weapons seem to be really badly organised. The starting gun is the worst gun in the game as far as I can see, and as soon as you can, you're going to buy an assault rifle because they're much better than the carbines. Now we have only got a limited gun pool because this is the beta, but why they put the RO933 as the starting gun and not the SG553, I don't know. But hopefully they'll get this sorted by the time the game's released. Anyway, hope you found this useful, and thanks for watching.